What you will find is a lot of these panels and parts on the car are exactly the same as if you were to go to Renault today and buy one of these yourself. The headlights, bumper, wings, bonnet, doors are all identical, even to the point where our doors still have electric windows working in them. However, there is one difference. All of these panels have a hologram sticker on them which contains a serial number. The reason this is here is to regulate all the parts and make sure all the teams buy from one set supplier and no one gets an advantage. So guys, I'm going to talk you through the engine bay of our Clio 4 Cup car. There's a lot of things in here which you will recognise if you've got one of these on the road or if you've ever seen the road version. However, there's a lot of things on here as well that might look slightly alien to you. One of the first things that probably stands out, and something we featured before on Instagram, is these green tabs which you can see sealing a lot of the components. These are put on here by the MSA and controlled by Renault Sport UK to make sure that everyone abides by the rules and no teams fiddle with any of these components to give them an advantage on the racetrack. Each seal will have its own unique code and it will be passed through certain bolts, certain nuts to prevent any tampering on these components. Some of the other differences that you'll notice is the air induction system. All of this section here is specifically made for the Clio Cup car and you won't see this on the standard road car. Over here we have the two brake reservoirs. These won't be found on a standard road car. These are custom made and adapted to the Clio 4 Cup car. They allow quicker and easier filling up for the brake reservoirs, both the front and rear. The car is fitted with a custom wiring loom that's been designed to not only be lighter but more efficient in removing the engine. You can see it here. Each plug is labelled with its own label telling us exactly what it does to avoid any confusion. This also won't be found on a standard road car but is essential in the Clio Cup race car. Down here we have one of the key features of the Clio 4 Cup car. It's the SADEV sequential box, one of the elements that makes it so fast out on circuit. It's controlled by this module here. It's an XAP electronic control module. It's this system here that forces the gear change when requested by the driver's paddles on the steering wheel. We have this adaptation here which allows us to bleed the clutch quicker. This means we can do very fast clutch and gearbox changes if required. This is also aided by this quick release mechanism. This allows us to undo the clutch feed pipe without losing any fluid and essentially not having to bleed the clutch on refitting. Something else you won't see on a standard road car are these bonnet pins here. These will allow us to open and shut the bonnet a lot quicker and arguably more securely. It means we don't have to go inside the car and pull the traditional lever underneath the dashboard to access the bonnet. Just by undoing the pins on both sides, we get immediate access to the engine bay.